Welcome back, everybody, to the Books of the Craft mini series. This is the last part of our mini series.
Yep. So this was a 3-part miniseries. The last lives were the Grimoire in January, and then the second one was in February, the Book of Shadows. We are currently on Shadow Work Journal.
Replay viewers feel free to comment throughout the video as if it is live, but with Facebook deleting the lives after a certain period of time, Jill's dog is not happy she left.
Oh, sir, that was not my.
I love seeing the 30-second delay with your dog had his head tilted or her head tilted, just like looking at the door.
It was like, where'd you go?
Oh yeah,
So I
very
just
well investigated.
facing towards my window, and I saw an orange tabby cat walk by, and I was like, crap, the back door must have opened. So I just ran. My cat's still inside, so I'm like, I guess not.
That's good. I was just letting the members know that with Facebook deleting the comments, still comment as if you're watching it live, we will respond. But if it is you're watching this way in the future, hello future people first, and then second, if it's on YouTube and you feel comfortable, you can comment on YouTube and we'll read your comments there too as well because we can see them.
Yeah.
And Atina, no worries, you're not late. We literally just did the introduction. That's all you've missed.
Yeah, and I ran out of the room because I thought I saw my cat outside.
Yeah, you just missed some laughs. There
Yeah.
you go. So let's hop into the actual bit. So what is a shadow work journal? It is a book specifically to contain your shadow work journey, containing but not limited to shadow work journal prompts, your personal journey, and shadow work goals. So literally just shadow work is what's going on in this book. The difference between a shadow work journal and a book of shadows is the book of shadows is like a witch's diary for one's entire craft, while a shadow work journal is specific to shadow work and shadow work only. Both books are extremely personal and not usually shared. I suppose they could be, but they're not usually shared. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Christy. You guys are not late. We are just getting started. So, what is shadow work? This is going to be a real short what is shadow work because I know we have lives on shadow work. We will have more lives on shadow work. And this is more going over the book. But shadow work is working within oneself to heal, become aware, and connect to your inner self and uncover your personal truth. Furthermore, it can be connecting to one's shadow self, integrating all aspects into your life and practice, balancing your light and your shadow side.
All right, and then here's a brief history. This is going to go both with the book and shadow work as well. I'm not going much into actual shadow work, but shadow work is in the account involves confronting the hidden, suppressed, or rejected parts of the self, known as the shadow. It is a term used in various spiritual including pagan and witch communities. Work can lead to self-discovery, personal growth, and integration of shadow aspect. Every human carries within a shadow self, the parts of ourselves that we hide, deny, or suppress. These aren't just fleeting thoughts or minor imperfections. They are deeply integrated fears, insecurities, and desires we buried over years. The truth is, your shadow isn't just psychological concept. It's a key to unlocking profound transformation. And then here's different types of like shadow work you can do within your journal. There is the shadow as a psychological concept. At its core, the shadow itself is a psychological phenomenon introduced by Carl Jung. It represents the unconscious parts of your personality that you've repressed, often because they were deemed unacceptable by society, family, or even yourself. But here's the twist. These hidden aspects don't just disappear. They influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in a subtle yet profound ways. By facing your shadow, you gain self-awareness and breaking free of self-sabotaging patterns. Key concepts on this type of shadow work would be the bridge between self-mastery, and without it, you would subconsciously block yourself from achieving your goals. So this would be the part that you would keep track if you're seeing your therapist, and like the assignments that they give would be this part. Next part is going to be moral conflict. Basically in this part right here, I'm giving you like different sections. Moral conflict. The shadow is often linked to moral conflict. Those moments when your desires clash with your sense of right and wrong. Society teaches us to label certain traits as impulses as bad, pushing them into the shadow. But morality isn't black and white. Shadow work allows you to explore these inner conflicts without judgment, helping you find a balance and authenticity. Key concepts on this would be embracing your shadow resolves inner conflict, allowing you to live in alignment with your true self. Next is going to be the shadow work as an archetypical force. The shadow isn't just personal, it's archetypical. It embodies universal themes like fear, anger, desire that every human experiences. These archetypes appear in myths, stories, and symbols across cultures, reflecting the collective unconscious. By working with the shadow as a archetypical force, you tap into ancient wisdom and gain clarity on your unique role in the grand narrative of life. Insight on this would be understanding the shadow as an archetype connects you to something greater than yourself, unlocking profound personal insights. Next is the shadow as cultural construct. Cultural shape culture shapes what we deem acceptable or unacceptable. Many aspects of shadow are created by societal norms, which vary across time and geography. For instance, qualities like ambition or sensitivity might be praised in one culture but shamed in another. By examining your shadow through the lens of cultural constraints, you can question which beliefs truly serve you and which ones hold you back. Key insight on this one is shadow work liberates you from cultural programming and you're empowering you to define your path. The next is going to be shadow work as creative potential. Your shadow isn't just a source of pain. It can also, let me see. It is also a wellspring of creativity. Many of history's greatest artists, thinkers, and innovators, wow, drew inspiration from their shadow selves. Integrating your shadow, you unleash your potential, your creative potential. You gain the courage to express yourself authentically and create life that reflects your deepest desires. Key aspects to this is your shadow holds the key to living life of passion, purpose, and creativity. So this would be a great time when you're going more into your self-care. This would be a perfect part of your journal for that. And then, of course, the shadow as the spiritual challenge. Spirituality, the shadow represents the challenges you must face to grow. It's the dark night of the soul, the process of enlightenment. Confronting your shadow forces you to release ego-driven attachments and embrace your higher self. Rather than fearing the shadow, see it as intuition, a rite of passage, a spiritual awakening. This is amazing when you start getting really, really deep. And this is also the part when you get into the dark night of soul that I say go start talking to a therapist as well. Insight on this would be shadow work accelerates spiritual growth, helping you align with your higher purpose. And then all of this came from the website sacredanarchy.org.
No, there we go. That's
It is beautiful.
Thank you. And she has lots of sass and lots of attitude, but she's a little parrot. Yes, she never shows up when I'm live, but I saw her, so I was like, let me show everybody. Yeah, the voice takes his rounds.
We're having all kinds of animals today.
Yes, I know people wanted to see animals. Well, we got lots of them.
Yep, yep.
To comment on all of the different types of shadow work that Angel just went over, there might be certain ones where you resonate or feel more called to do versus other ones. Maybe you're like, I want to dip my toes in all of them, maybe only one or two. You can do them how you like please. You know what I mean? Or it could also be like one day you're feeling a lot more creative, and then the next day you're feeling a lot more spiritual. And then the next day, maybe you're wanting to sort of like dive into your mind and like categorize things that are going on. And so maybe you want to dive into more of those archetypes by like going through your own mind. It might not necessarily be with ancestors. Well, that's a great use. You can also do it more to like figure out the way that you like proceed with things, figure out like subconscious things that like not even you might have realized that you have going on. Just another like little tidbit.
Absolutely. Yep. I wanted to have those in there just because sometimes people don't know how to like break up their journal, especially with something as deep as this. So when I saw that, I was like, this is perfect. Different sections. I really kind of hang out in the dark night of the soul. So like when I'm doing shadow work, I'm down doing that.
Yeah.
So that's really what most of mine are. All right. So Miss
mine.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
With mine, I do a lot of the like the Carl Jung, the psychological type, and then the archetypes. And then I sort of break it up because like I have to work through all of that like really hard stuff. Because if I try to like tap into the creative stuff, all of that bad stuff just like leeches in. So I try to like tackle the bigger things. And then when I feel I need a breather, then I like splash in that creativity, or I like splash in like the meditation and like the spiritual.
Yep, for sure. I love your blanket.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's this is my blanket that joins me for all the lives. I felt like it'd be fitting.
Right, so misconceptions. This journey isn't about battering your darkness or fixing yourself. It's about embracing the parts of you that you've disowned so you can reclaim your wholeness. It's about shining a light in the depths of your being and seeing for the first time the incredible strengths and wisdom hidden there. You don't have to buy a fancy shadow or workbook. I love how I put you have to buy. You don't have to buy.
I thought that was really funny.
You don't have to buy a fancy shadow workbook or any type of journal, anything that costs a lot of money. All you need is a notebook, a pen, and some prompts and free time to do it. And even then, you don't even have to have guides online. Sit there and meditate and see what questions pop out and write those down and use those for your shadow work.
Oh, here's another one.
Yeah.
If you don't have prompts online and maybe meditating's not your thing, think about like something that constantly bothers you and then just start there.
Yeah.
Why does that bother you? Or why like or something as simple as what's a chore you hate doing? Why do you hate doing it? Is there like a deeper reason why you hate doing it? Should you give yourself more grace? Should you go about it differently? There's a million ways to just like start biting at it, like in little bits.
Yep. For sure. And then another misconception, another one is that you have to spend hours a day digging deep and really exploring your shadow all the time. Doesn't have to be that deep. You can spend as much or little time as you want with your prompts, with your creativity. There's no goal or time to work through your shadow work journal.
Sorry, I was thinking.
Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say I have an 80-day one that I have not done in 80 days. I think it's taken me like 5 years to get through the 80-day shadow work.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, some of those shadow work journals that are like, do this one, it will take you 10 minutes. You read the prompt and I'm like, I could write about this for about 7 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't think 10 minutes is gonna cut it.
Yeah.
So I like that you brought that up. So maybe if you have we'll use your 80-day one. Maybe it could be an 80-week one or a 40-week one. You could do 2 prompts a week and break it up. Maybe it's just a how many days is it going to take me to get through 80? So you don't have to rush yourself.
Exactly.
So let's dive into the dark side versus the light side when you're talking about shadow work. So what are some lighter aspects of shadow work? Hello, Alexia. So some lighter aspects of shadow work are self-care, affirmations, connecting with yourself, like grounding, meditating, just doing your hobbies, learning about something that you like, learning about the things that you dislike. And what I mean by that is when was the the last time you sat down and you're like, you know what? Not thinking about anyone, not thinking about any material like problems or money or anything. What are things that truly make me happy and I like? Or what are things that like truly I don't like yuck, disgusting? Like allow yourself to sit and like connect with yourself. Also, personal divination, but that could be communicating with spirit, ancestors, guides, deities, or connecting with your higher self or connecting with your inner child. So, but that's not like an all-encompassing list of the light side. That's just like some little ideas.
I think if we tried to be all encompassing, we'll be sitting here for like 8 hours.
Probably. And we still have some stuff we forgot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So here's like a quick little on the dark side of shadow work. With this book, I won't really be going into like a lot of the darker aspects like I did with the other two books in this series, as it isn't really like a true dark, as it is more of like more of the heavier stuff. As always, before I go into this, when you're doing this heavier stuff, make sure you reach out to. Oh yeah, thank you. This book itself is not dark or dangerous. It's the work that happens within. As always, make sure you reach out to a mundane mental health professional when doing shadow work and it turns out that it's just too much for you. Here's some, but not all the darker things you may want to face with shadow work. Reliving past traumas. It can be from mental, emotional, sexual, or psychological, physical, or even sexual abuse. You may have to face your own demons, take responsibility for your own actions that negatively affected yourself and others. Yes, your own demons that you make, because we can actually make our own demons as well. Bring up repressed experience that you locked away deep within your mind and having to face them again. This one is one of those ones that can be really, really hard. And again, it could negatively affect your mental state by causing depression, anxiety, and even life-ending thoughts.
That is why we definitely say that the dark side or the heavy side of shadow work might not be for you. It might not be something that you can do right now. See, he knows I need emotional support. But like some of those darker topics or those heavier topics, you might not be able to work through by yourself. I will say that nowadays in my life, I do try to go through them by myself. Again, do what I say, not what I do. But it's not recommended because it can be really difficult, especially if like for instance, if you're trying to work through something that you suppress, let's say you've got a flash of like a memory that you locked away, but you only have like I don't know, 5 seconds of this memory. Say the memory is 10 minutes long. Only having 5 seconds, there's still a lot. So if you start pulling those things, you might not know. Here's a great metaphor. You can pull a rock, but you might not know how big the landslide behind it is.
Yep.
So you might have just pulled out a pebble, but you could have just unleashed a mudslide.
Yep.
So when you're hopping into, that was a great metaphor.
It's a really good. That's a really good one for the dark stuff. Yeah.
Write that down when we're done.
So, yeah, that was a good one.
I'm gonna have to put that in the bank of different ones that I'm gonna say. But yeah, you start where you want to. And if the dark aspects or the heavy aspects are not for you, start with the light aspects. It's still, you're still doing it. It's all like equally valued.
Yep.
Who uses a shadow work journal? Honestly, anyone. But in the sense of which we're speaking about shadow work directly related with witchcraft, so this purpose, we're talking about a witch or practitioner specifically using.
Yep. And then how do you use it? To answer the questions and prompts that you have to do with your shadow work, reflections that you may have while doing healing work, write questions out to answer later.
Tammy, I love what you said, that some things take a lot longer than others with prompts. Me and Angel Angel and I could both get the exact same prompt, and it will affect us both completely different. So those books that are just, like, do this in 80 days and feel better about yourself. It's really like a I don't know, like an ick of mine, I guess. Like you can it might make you feel worse. It could happen. You don't know what the questions are. You don't know how it's going to make you feel. You don't know what it's going to release from
Mhm.
you. But where do you use your shadow work journal? Anywhere that you feel safe and comfortable. That's like a big one that I'm going to put out there. If you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to write honestly. You're not going to reflect honestly. Like
Yeah.
it's not going to feel good. You need to be in a safe,
Yeah.
comfortable spot if you're working if you're doing shadow work, if you're working in that shadow work journal. It could be at your altar, it could be in your bed, it could be outdoors, it could be in your bathtub, it could be in the kitchen, it could be in the middle of the woods where no one is around you. It could be literally anywhere that makes you feel comfortable.
Actually, I go
Yes,
to the
support is definitely
yeah.
always necessary, whether it's a good friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's mental health professional, whatever makes you feel supported
Yep, for sure. Yep,
and healing.
exactly. And I actually go to the woods, like, because I believe in while I'm working through it, sitting on the ground, pushing all that energy back into the ground too. So you get both. You get your mental and you get your cleansing as well.
Oh, yeah.
When to use it, when to write in it. While doing shadow work officially, whenever you need to face a hard aspect of your path or craft, when to look back on it, when you find that the shadow that you faced and thought you conquered is back, because those shadows can still come back, or when you face something similar to that original shadow.
Pets are also a good support.
Yes.
Yeah, being in nature is always a good one. Also,
Mhm.
if you have a certain spot that you feel called to, a lot of us have like that spot where, like if you're just not having a great time, you could be in that spot and you would feel good.
Mhm.
That spot might not always be like attainable to get
Yeah.
to all the time, but I feel like most of us have that spot. That's a good place that you could be if it's a place you could easily get to. What all do shadow work journals include? It includes your personal journeys through shadow work, journal prompts, shadow work challenges, personal goals. It could be to-do lists related to shadow work, personal struggles, personal breakthroughs, meditation exercises for shadow work, grounding exercises, self-care rituals that you can pair along with shadow work,
Mhm.
affirmations. Also, it could just be a list of things that you learned, things that you feel good about yourself. Two things that I also really like putting in there is putting a list of things that you can control, putting a list of things that you can't control, and then putting a list of like 10 statements that are like always true. Because if you're doing shadow work and you start having a hard time, if you have a couple pages in your shadow work journal that you can just read through, do some like breathing exercises while you read through them, that can help calm you down. Tammy says learning your triggers and your safe places are very important. You could also put lists of safe places and triggers in your book. We're getting to that question that you asked here shortly. And then we did like a toe dip of what shadow work is in the beginning, and then we'll also provide references at the end. Thank you, Ellen, for saying great ideas. Alexia says, LOL, one psychologist, not multiple. I'm not that messed up. Yes.
Yes.
And then Ronnie will be talking about types of journals and where to get them. And then Holly says, yes, knowing triggers and safe places and people, completely agree.
Yep. Yep, for sure. Absolutely. And when it comes to therapists, I actually recommend when you're looking for a therapist to look one that is all inclusive, very spiritual. Even if you can find one that is I can't talk, your path of witchcraft friendly. That way you can be a little bit more open with them. And there's usually lists that you can find of what therapists kind of go where you want. Like I have a therapist that actually basically walks the same path as me. So like when I'm like I hear voices, they're not like, oh, medication. They're like, oh, what's this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
sometimes I question if I'm actually hearing voices because of my psychic senses or if I'm going a little cuckoo in the moment. Different styles of
Hold on. I want to add something with,
Okay.
with
Okay.
what you said. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to be able to work with that. And these are the things that I would like to accomplish from this.
Mhm.
Can you help me do this? Or is this not something that you align with? And if you have things that are like hard no's for you, like maybe it's I don't like medication, or maybe it's I'm open to trying it, but I don't want it to be shoved down my throat. Or maybe it could be, I don't know what works for me, but I really want to try it. Whatever it is. You have to say your boundaries. Don't just settle for something if it's not a good match, because then it might just make you feel worse. It might be no match.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be afraid to try different therapists.
Yes.
The first one may not be a good.
That's 100% sure. Yep.
Yes.
And then here's the different styles. They can be workbooks that you buy off of Amazon, PDF files that you find online with prompts, no normal notebooks, or even a file that you keep online.
Yeah, so it could be like a Google Drive. You can make like a doc. You could type on it. And you can buy shadow work journals like all over the place. They sell them at the dollar store now.
Yeah.
So you could get them anywhere. But like literally any method of documentation, whatever method feels comfortable. If you want to record voice notes on your phone, like do that. Like whatever makes you feel comfortable, that would be your method. Ronnie asks like where to get them. If you're getting like regular notebooks, really anywhere that you can buy regular notebooks, shadow work journals that have like prompts in them online, you could really sift for exactly what you're looking for. But then like Five Below, Walmart, Target, probably Barnes and Noble, to be honest. And then like any witchy store, spiritual stores, if they have like a book section, they might have those types of things. Lexi says it took me years to find the right therapist, but once I did, it started making a difference. Yeah, you'll know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mine just retired. Had to find a new one. Yeah.
You're like, no, stays.
Yep. No, mine just retired.
Okay, so to show examples, so here's a little peace sign. This is actually my tarot journal. Don't tell anybody. You could use it for your shadow work journal. This is my next book of shadows. Again, don't tell anybody, but it could work. It could work. It's just a little spiral, you know. I've showed both of those in other lives. Yeah. This is my shadow work journal specifically though. So the book that we're doing today is this one. And so I'm gonna show the cover, like the inside cover, because I decorated it. And because the only thing it has in it is my name, which is on Facebook. So I'm not concerned about you guys seeing it. I'm gonna actually flip you guys over because you'll see it. And there is something in it that I did not write. It came from a pen pal. She's in the group, from Haley. She's the sweetest. I decorated it with stickers that I like and like some positive words. We have like choose happiness, good things take time, still here, still strong, just ones that I like. And then this is just something that she wrote or that she found. But regardless, I loved it and I had to. There we go. And then for the first prompt that I wrote, I'm not going to turn the page around because obviously I don't want to show my answer. But the first prompt that I did was, what do I hope to get out of shadow work? Because that seemed fitting for like a starter. And then I'm going to do some finagling over here. There we go. This side over here is again from Haley, but it's just a list of shadow work questions that she sent me in a letter. So you could do something like that. You could just take the questions, paste it in there, and then you can go about answering. So that's just like a little bit of my shadow work here. Because obviously it's super personal, but the cover page, you know, hopefully that gave you guys a little inspiration. That's how you let your creative side flow.
I love it. All right, so here's mine. This is that 80-day one that's taken me forever. It's a nice fuzzy notebook. It says self-love. I actually got it from icing when I used to work there. And I'll show you. I put shadow wow.
Oh, that's so cute. I finally just saw it. That's so cute.
I got it from icing. I think I got it from clearance, and I used to get 60% off, so I probably paid like $2 for this. And then, of course, I mentioned this one before. This is going to be my new shadow work one. Especially when I start working on my darker stuff, I figured this is perfect.
And hey, Cheyenne.
And then this is an example of one of the PDFs that you can get. I don't think I wrote in this one now. So it's going to have all different, like, stuff. And I can find the links for these, and I'll actually share them. And then my last one, you know, my orca, this one too. This is no notebook. Now this one I actually think I wrote in, so I'll pick a page that I didn't write in. Yeah. Oh, I wrote a lot in this one. I'm so proud of myself. I got far in this one.
Yes, I love when I pick up a book and I'm like, dang, I almost finished.
So shadow work is not my strong suit.
Very nice.
And then I do have a book. I couldn't find it for the lives, but I do have a book that I actually bought on Amazon that's like a hardback that has a ton of prompts too.
If you find it after the
Yeah.
live, or even if you just find the name, you should pop it in the chat.
Yeah, I will. Definitely.
And if you're watching this later on YouTube, I'm so sorry. But you can Google shadow work journal books,
Yep.
and you'll probably find about 8 million of them. So then you'll want to find one that actually like relates to some type of things that you want to work through, unless you just want to like yank a random one.
Yeah.
Just do random.
And I might put my links like in my YouTube description too. So
I can't promise you
yeah.
for all of my videos. I'll put the links. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can comment and ask for the link, and I'll be like, "Oh crap!" and then I'll go get you.
Yeah.
So whether or not they're there automatically, don't know. But if you ask for them, I will provide them. Some ideas or tips. We probably touched on a couple of them, but for just working through that shadow work journal is having a good support system, using shadow work books to get prompts and challenges, giving yourself goals and challenges. And okay, I keep saying challenges. What the heck do I mean by that? So maybe you challenge yourself to spend 5 minutes working on shadow work every day. And maybe you're like, well, how can I get anything done in 5 minutes? Okay, 5 minutes is a lot longer than you think it is. If you're sitting and you're not playing on the dang phone, that dang phone. But if you're sitting there and you're really focusing in on your emotions and things, 5 minutes can feel like a long time.
Mhm.
And then maybe after you do those 5 minutes, maybe your next challenge is spend 10 minutes every other day working on shadow work, whatever the heck you want. But making up challenges that are realistic to you. Please, please, please do not go on YouTube. Look up some famous influencer who does nothing besides social media and try to copy their challenges. Don't allow that to make you feel defeated because your entire life is not just focused around that challenge. You know what I mean? So, yes, I'm going to read Holly's comment. Be patient and kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure.
Creating a routine can also help you, allowing that creative side to flow. Maybe you do shadow work by you junk journal and then you write stuff and then you like junk journal over top of what maybe what you wrote is too upsetting to leave on the page, so you cover it with your art after you wrote it. What the heck does it matter if you covered up the words? You did the work. Put something beautiful over top of it so you don't have just a book of bad memories if that's what your issue is. Find something that makes you feel good about it. And lastly, don't overcomplicate it. If you want to grab a napkin and do a shadow work prompt and then throw it in the garbage when you're done with it, do that.
I'm a huge person in burning stuff too. So if something's really deep and heavy, burn it afterwards. Take it to a fire pit, you know.
There you go. If you don't have a fire pit, I didn't recommend this, but you can very safely use a lighter or use like your stove that you have like a gas stove. But be safe. Fire safety. Fire extinguisher.
Don't burn your house down.
Yeah, don't do that. Then you'll have more shadow work to do later.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Why did I do this? All right. So here's going to be some different levels of prompts. So the first one's going to be intro. I put write a letter to forgiving yourself. So I'll actually read mine to give you an idea.
Before you read your letter, for prompt ideas, we're breaking them down. We're going over basic intro prompts and then more like intermediate and then difficult. And by the way, Angel and I were the ones who created the prompts and we're the ones who decided what category they're in. So maybe it's not intro or maybe it's not intermediate to you, but that's sort of what we felt like they fit in. Just as like a little forewarning.
Yep, exactly. So here's my letter. Dear self, I am sorry for not treating my mental health and emotional wounds like I have treated my physical ones. Today, I choose to dive into my trauma, explore my inner darkness, love my demons, and unlearn coping mechanisms. Today, I take the first steps into my new future where I am conscious of my actions, where I react from a place of love and gratitude, and where I am free to discover my highest self.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Before I give my intro prompt, I'm going to catch us up on the comments. Holly said it's okay to take breaks and to go back when you're ready. That is 100% true. Ellen agrees. She said burning feels so good. Cheyenne says that she learned that sometimes drawing a picture rather than writing helps, as her feelings always come out when she draws or paints. You could do drawing, you could do painting, you could write poetry, you could do sculpting. Also, if you like painting, try splatter painting. Allow yourself to get angry. That's always fun. And then Alexia said, aren't there journals that like exist for burning that maybe that because that would be cool. Something that's like safely flammable. I know there's what are they called? What are the journals called that you like break them and you like destroy them? The Wreck-It journals, is that what they're called?
There's one that is Five Below that actually says burn after. So I assume that it's actually safe to burn. Like the paper doesn't have the ink that will make it bad. Yeah.
I would just read the back of the book or do a little research on it, and then it would probably tell you. Somebody's probably tried to burn it.
Yeah.
We've been around for a while. My intro prompt is, what does shadow work mean to you? What are some things that you wish to achieve through your shadow work journey? So as I read to you as my first prompt is I wrote, what did I want to get out of shadow work? Because I'm a very firm believer in, if you're going to dive into something, you need to know what it means to you and what you want to get out of it. I feel is like a pretty important base starter. I'm not going to read my prompt. Thank you to Angel for sharing, but it's what shadow work means to you and what you want to get out of it is like a really good thing. I will say overarchingly, the big thing that I want to get out of it is waking up in the morning at peace with yourself and going to bed at peace with yourself and the world. My intermediate prompt is, what is the emotion you ignore or suppress the most? How often do you do this? Why do you think you do this? I love how similar our prompts are. On some of them. We're all
read yours. I didn't read
yours either.
Because I actually wrote it before like I plugged it in. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So here's the difficult ones. For mine is, what is the one thing you did to yourself or someone else that you haven't forgiven yourself for? And forgive yourself.
Okay, so Angel and I both wrote these ourselves, and we neither of them like saw them when we wrote them. This is our unveiling of just these prompts. And mine is, what is the main hurdle, past trauma or blockage that every time you get close to working on it, you turn around and never face it? Why do you think you can't face it?
They are really similar.
I was letting my inner author come out when I was just trying to write these prompts.
It's just like, what digs deep? I'm like, okay, the letter to self is easy. This is a little bit harder. Now forgiving myself is the hardest. So I was like, there we go.
I love that yours is the one thing to not forgive, and mine's like, what's the one thing that you just like, you can't.
Never mind. Nope.
Can't do that. Yeah. Hop into some resources. A previous live, I don't know how long it's going to be in this guide as Facebook's going crazy. It's currently in or around guide 11, but it is from April 2024. The title is Shadow Work and Where to Start by Serenity West. So if you don't know anything about shadow work, go watch this live. I highly recommend it. Also, there's many books, websites, YouTube videos, etc. on what shadow work is. Like Angel mentioned earlier, you could go at it in a straight, like psychological, mundane way. You could go at it in a straight spiritual way, or you can go at it with like a massive mix in between. Yeah. Reaching out to fellow witches, also the sister groups, Where Witches Roam and Witches Al Exchange. A lot of times prompts and shadow work related things will just get posted on the feed. And then also we have Angel's website that she pulled the different types from, and that is sacredanarchy.org. I'm going to spell it for you YouTube people. It's SACREDANARCHY.org. And then you'll probably find it from there. But for us Facebook people, I'm going to put the link in chat.
Make it nice and easy. And if I remember, I'll put it up when I upload the video too. So if it's there, I will try to have all my links in our descriptions. And then, of course, in closing, when it comes to shadow work, there are many different options of ways to keep the book, but even the options that we gave are not the end all be all. Always make sure you do what resonates with you and helps you in your healing.
April 2020 is when the date from Serenity was. April 2024, Shadow Work and Where to Start by Serenity West. And thank you everybody for watching and joining us. And honestly, Angel, I am obsessed with how similar those dang thumbs were.
That was crazy. I love that. You planned it.
Yeah, out of all of Shadow Work, we're like, let's hear this episode. That was great. We're great minds think alike.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you guys. We will see you on the replay, or thank you for joining us now.
Bye.